What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. FantasyTeamAdvisors.com, bringing home the bacon MLB DFS video for Monday, August 7th. We are back. Yesterday's video was our best video ever for DFS. You guys absolutely killed it with the views, with the likes, with the comments. I wanted to show you guys right now before we get into it. We had 1,035 views on the video, 63 comments, 118 likes with one dislike. Of course, we had one hater because maybe they couldn't listen. But you guys killed it. We almost had 125 likes. Someone almost won a free year. 7 more likes and one of you guys would have won a free year. So, if you're new to the channel, welcome. I hope every video is like this. You guys killed it. Of course, Glasnow was our number one pitcher on the slate, and he was scratched with back spasms kind of late into the game, or late into the day. So he was out, but luckily it was before the main slate started. If you're new to the channel, anytime a video gets at least 50 likes and you leave a comment and are a subscriber, your comment is put into YouTube random comment picker. You have a chance to win a free week. Anytime a video gets 100 likes, like yesterday's video, you have a chance to win a free month. Anytime a video gets 125 likes, we were only 7 away. Someone will have a chance to win a free year. And anytime a video gets 150 likes, one person will win a lifetime pass. Another way to do it, if we hit 10,000 YouTube subs or 10,000 Twitter followers before the start of the NFL season, so we got about a month away, someone will win a lifetime pass as well. So, before you leave, stay. You are in for a treat. We are going over all of the pitching on the slate. We're going all over the bats on the slate. We're going to dig into the metrics, the peripherals. We're going to dig into everything we can for this slate. It's technically a 12-game slate. This game right here is not on anything unless you play like a showdown, so we're still going to cover it. But that was awesome, guys. At the end of this video, what we're going to do is we're going to give our top 15 bats. So what we do is we have AI simulations, and we simulate it 10,000 times a day. I've simulated it 2,000 times right now, and we'll go over the top 10 or top 15 bats in those. We'll talk about the ballparks with the ballpark factors. If there's a chance for offense in the ballparks, we will look at that as well. So any questions, get those down below. But awesome stuff yesterday. I'm very proud of everybody. I'm also opening up the Discord channel. I want that to be opened to everybody for now. So what we're going to do is down in the description of this video is today's article. So some of the plays that we like, pitchers that we like, and the Discord channel and all of our other links. So before we get into the metrics and the games and everything like that, let's see who won a free month of MLB. Well, actually, it's everything. We now have MLB, MMA. People said they loved the cheat sheets and the optimal lineups. The optimal lineups actually cashed on both sites, so that was awesome. We have the cheat sheet with projected winners, ownership, and stuff like that. We had NASCAR. People love that NASCAR cheat sheet and the optimal lineups. We'll have NFL very soon, and we had PGA, and whenever I get paid out, our PGA lineups killed it too. So big weekend, very excited. And yeah, so let's see who's going to be winning a free month of all of those sports starting right now. So congratulations to the current person from this video, who is Octavius Bailey. I like these long, in-depth videos a lot. Thank you so much. Let me know you saw this. Hit the like button on this video. Leave a comment that you saw it, and either get me a hold of me on Twitter at advisors_team, or you can hit us up on email, dfshelp1@gmail.com. So if you want to get your free month, you either have to hit me up an email or hit me up on Twitter. So good luck to everybody else. You can win every single day, guys. Octavius can win again after this video, depending if we get enough likes. So if we get at least 100 likes on this video as well, and he wins randomly again, could be 2 months of content for absolutely free. So, that being said, we've got Tony Gonsolin versus Seth Lugo. I don't really know why this is early. This must just be a makeup game. You can't play anything here on DFS, so you can only do if they have it in a solo. So we will cover the information. Tony Gonsolin versus Seth Lugo. Probably don't feel like using either of these pitchers, but we are going to dig into the metrics. And what I mean is, both of these are right-handed pitchers, so let's take a look. These are the metrics through Sunday of players and all of their stats against right-handed pitchers and players and all of their stats against left-handed pitchers. Ton of information for you, but hopefully we can break it down for you as well. So let's take a look at the Dodgers bats against right-handed pitchers and ones that we could be looking at in this game. So you can see, you obviously want to target players that have more green and yellow than have orange and red. Max Muncy got a 225 average against righties, but he's striking out 30% of the time, which is crazy. He's walking 17% of the time and 265 at-bats this year. So this is just this season. This isn't their career. This is this season. So you can look at all of these numbers. Ones that you'd really want to target, Mookie against righties. I'm looking. Freddie Freeman batting .333, had a monster bomb on Sunday against Rich Hill. I believe that was Rich Hill's first lefty-on-lefty home run all year, which is crazy. But you're looking at these. So if I am building through here, Freddie Freeman's one of my core plays of the day. He's my number one first baseman if I were able to have him in there. But again, he would be my captain or my MVP, whichever site you're playing on. I would look at him. I think he's going to be very expensive but very popular. Mookie Betts would be another one. I'd still look at JD Martinez. He's not walking very much. He is striking out a considerable amount here at 32% of the time. But see if he's in there. Hayward would be a cheap option. I think a lot of people would be off of if he starts, kind of like Max Muncy as well in that situation. Again, you got to get a little bit creative because there's, it's one game, so you do have to find those edges. So then you look at this, Juan Soto against a righty, absolutely killing it. 444 OBP, 292 batting average, walking 1.28 walks per Ks. He would be an MVP. Tatis, kind of lower here. Not a lot of green, but I'd be looking at him. Gary Sanchez is on another level right now. He's not on here. But looking at that, he would be another option for me. Jake Cronenworth would be another option, lefty on righty matchup there. Trent Grisham, I don't mind either. You got to get a little bit creative when you're looking at a single game. So that's what I would do if you're doing the showdown in this game today. So we won't, and then we can look at, now obviously the weather is going to change between now and then, so use that as you will. But this is at Petco Park. The weather right now, it looks like it might be blowing left to right, but we don't know. It will change by then. So it is a pitcher's park, but I would still be looking at the bats there. So the first game of this early turbo slate, or whatever you want to call it, you got the Minnesota Twins, who are coming off a walk-off. Matt Wallner walked it off, 2-run home run on Sunday versus Joey Wentz. Pablo Lopez here has a fantastic matchup against Detroit. So let's look at that. Pablo against Detroit, game logs. He's coming off pretty good games here against St. Louis and Seattle. We look at this. He's faced Detroit one time this year. In that time, he 6 innings, 7 hits allowed, 3 earned runs, but had 10 Ks, 22.7 fantasy points. In this one, you got to get a little bit. It's 3 games. We do have weather concern in all 3 of them, so this is kind of concerning for me because all of these ballparks are ones that I actually really like for the games today. So we kind of have to look at that. So we look at Detroit, and just depending on, weather, a little bit leery on the weather. I don't know if I enjoy it much. The wind is blowing all in. I'd probably take pitching in this one. I'd probably look at Lopez there. So you got Lopez versus Joey Wentz. So let's take a look. We will take a look at the Detroit Tigers against right-handed pitching. Gonna dig in here. I wouldn't use Miggy. Riley Green is a really good option. If you're not going with Pablo, I would look at Riley Green. Love me some Riley Green here. Matt Vierling, I don't mind him either. He doesn't have a ton of green, but I still like him there. Batting .270 here. Wouldn't use Javi. He's just so inconsistent. Badu maybe for tournaments, I don't mind. McKinstry, I don't mind here. Not a ton that I like. Kerry Carpenter's another one that I would look here. Maybe a little bit of Spencer Torkelson, a little bit. So then we can look at the Minnesota Twins against Joey Wentz and lefties here. So who hits them well? Well, Byron Buxton's out hurt, so we can't use him. We used Michael Taylor the other day. He hit a home run for us. I wouldn't use Joey Gallo. 190 batting average against lefties. Strikes out 40% of the time. We know that. I would maybe look at Donovan Solano. Michael Taylor, like I said. Correa's still kind of expensive compared to how he's been this year. I don't know if I'd really look at him. There's not a ton. They're not the best. Byron Buxton's out, like I said. Kepler, I don't mind lefty-on-lefty matchup. I wouldn't mind him. Ryan Jeffers has come through for us the past couple of days with home runs. So I would look at Solano, Taylor, maybe a little bit of Vasquez if he starts. Jeffers, probably either. Obviously, it's going to either be Vasquez or Jeffers. Hopefully it's Jeffers because I would take him over them, and a little bit of Max Kepler there. So I would pull the trigger on Lopez here. I love Lopez against Detroit. Seeing that his splits, he's had success against them this year. He is better on the road pitching. Less earned runs. In 2 more starts, less earned runs. Does give up more home runs, though. So that's where Riley Green would come in to play big time there. Has more strikeouts on the road. Has more hits allowed on the road. So tournament-wise, I don't mind. But I'd probably... The weather. This is where we're going to get iffy. These are ones where I might just... If the weather continues like this, probably just going to kind of not play this slate and only play the 8-game main slate. I just don't like what the weather's looking at now. It obviously will change, but monitor the weather situation. And we have a weather tab on our cheat sheet too. So if you want to go check it out, FantasyTeamAdvisors.com. You can get FTA Plus. You can get $24.99 for 1 month of all the sports, or you can get a year pass. Use the promo code NFLVIP. Get $100 off right now. Get it for $99. But I would not use Joey Wentz. Don't trust him enough. I guess if 3-game slate, though, you could use any of these pitchers. And that's why we're digging into the numbers so you can see. So, obviously, Pablo Lopez would be cash. Joey Wentz would be GPP just because he does have some good numbers here. Some people like BVP. A lot of people hate BVP. So, 49 plate appearances isn't a ton. You just have to look at how he's been doing this season. Game logs, kind of a really good start against Miami. We've seen that he's faced Minnesota 2 times this year. 11 innings pitched, 6 runs, 5 of them earned, 13 strikeouts, 2 home runs. I don't know if that accounts for any Byron Buxton or anyone that's hurt. So, again, 3-game slate. You got to get a little bit creative. Don't mind him for tournaments. Moving on, Nationals at the Phillies. Trevor Williams versus Ranger Suarez. Trevor Williams has faced 137 plate appearances, 308 batting average. Ranger Suarez, 89 plate appearances, 333. I honestly wouldn't use either of these pitchers. I don't trust them. Trevor Williams is down here for the bottom for a reason. Minus 3.6 against the Mets, 6.1 against Colorado. Those are not good teams. Splits-wise, he's faced Philly twice this year, giving up in 10 innings, 7 earned runs, 7 Ks, 8.6. He has almost a 6 ERA. I would be stacking the Phillies. Now, looking at the Phillies bats, without even knowing, Trey Turner's been coming on strong. We do know that. Bryce Harper's kind of been coming around a little bit. Doesn't look 100%. Harper definitely is not 100% right now, but I don't mind him. Kyle Schwarber hitting Schwarber bombs. He's batting 172 against righties, which is crazy, but he had a monster shot against Greinke. I told you in yesterday's video, I loved the Phillies. I loved Schwarber. He hit a home run for us. Nick Castellanos had a home run for us. Trey Turner's been coming on strong, like I said, batting 242. Bryson Stott batting 304 against righties. Bryce Harper batting 307 with a 403 OBP and a 391 BABIP. I would look at him. Real Muto, I don't mind either. So Brandon Marsh is on the IL. And that's basically it. I would take Brandon Marsh out, obviously, and I like everybody else on this team. I will have a stack there. Then we look at the next one. Trevor Williams. I'm out on Trevor Williams. Let's look at Ranger Suarez. Game logs. Not the best. Not anything that I really like here. You're getting 6 innings out of him. You're not getting the fantasy points, especially at 7,200. Splits-wise, he's faced Washington twice this year, 12.1 innings, 15 hits, 6 earned runs, 438. I'm looking at this game. If the weather doesn't play a factor, this ballpark right here, 39% boost for home runs in this one. The wind is blowing directly out to right. I am stacking, as long as the rain stays away, I am stacking the bats in this game. This game right here has the number one ballpark factor for home runs. Without looking at the weather, if the weather holds off, the wind is absolutely supposed to blow out of this ballpark. I will be looking at none of this pitching. I will be looking at the bats on both sides. I think we get a lot of value out of that. So let's take a look at Washington bats against left-handed pitchers. Lane Thomas had a home run for us yesterday. There we go. He's a ton of green. He's batting .363 against left-handed pitchers. C.J. Abrams had, I believe, a leadoff home run yesterday. Batting only .202 against lefties, but I would still take him. Ruiz, he's a sneakier option. Riley Adams, I don't even know if he's hurt. I don't know. He only has 51 plate appearances, though. So this only takes into effect 50-plus plate appearances to come into this information. So I'm just taking a gander real quick at Adams. So he is on the team. He's still up there. He didn't play yesterday. He played on Saturday. Getting more playing time with his numbers here. If he is the catcher or Keibert Ruiz, Riley Adams, he would be a very, very cheap option. I mean, 51 plate appearance, so everything's a little bit skewed. But yeah, 386. Kind of look into this. This is kind of what I look at. So Candelario obviously is no longer on the team. That obviously will show up when they get traded. So I am definitely looking at C.J. Abrams, Lane Thomas, Riley Adams if he starts. I don't mind Vargas here either. I don't know if he'll start, though. So there you have it. I would not take any pitching in this game. I would take bats in the Washington and Philly game. So avoiding both of these, I'm looking at 100%. I'm stacking the offense in this one. Next game, Marlins at the Reds. You got Yuri Perez, who just got called back up, who's been dominant all year before getting sent down for innings restriction. We look at his numbers. He is facing Cincy at Cincy. This ballpark currently has the second best chance for home runs and stuff like that. So this is a little bit, leery about this. Wind is blowing out to left here. So you got Yuri Perez, 5-3 record, 61 Ks, 2.36 ERA out of him. Game logs. He hasn't pitched since July 6th, so he had one bad game against Atlanta, but that's Atlanta's offense. And then you can just see domination here. Comes in at 8,100, which is what he was before he got set down at the All-Star break. Splits, he's faced Cincy once this year. He only went 4.2 innings, only gave up 2 earned runs, had 7 Ks in that game. I still like him. Away games, he is worse on the road, though, and the wind is blowing out. So this one's, I'm kind of, I want to like him a lot, but this ballpark is unforgiving to pitchers, and if the offense is on or the wind is blowing out, if you make contact with the ball, it could fly out of there. So that is why I'm a little bit concerned, but I think you could get a lot of leverage on the field if you take Yuri Perez over other people, because I think his ownership is going to be lower because of the wind factor, the team factor, and the ballpark factor. So that is my thought in this game. I would definitely be looking at Yuri Perez a little bit. Then you got Brandon Williamson against Miami. Game logs, not the last 2 games, Chicago and Detroit, or the Dodgers, not so good. Had a good game against Arizona, and then kind of iffy against the other ones. He's only 6,000, though. Splits-wise, he hasn't faced Miami this year. Home games, he is a little bit better at home, but again, it's still a 4.42 ERA at home. So then we take on the players. So let's look at the Reds players against right-handed pitching. Get rid of Philly. Go to Cincy. Players that have had success. Will Benson has a lot of green we could be looking at. Spencer Steer is okay. TJ Friedl, I don't mind. Ellie De La Cruz is a switch hitter. He's got some green there. Batting .270 against righties. Fraley's on the IL. Matt McClain, I don't mind him either. He's got a .406 BABIP there. Joey Votto is not on here because he doesn't have 50 plate appearances yet against them, but I would take Will Benson, Spencer Steer, TJ Friedl, Ellie De La Cruz, Matt McClain, and Joey Votto in this situation. Then the Marlins bats against lefties. I'm pretty sure they're really good. But that's why we have this here. And we will check it out. Yeah. John Birdie batting .370 against lefties. .459 BABIP, .506 slugging. OPS is near 1,000. I would look at him. Brian De La Cruz is batting .290 here. Does have a lower ISO power, though. Gurriel would be a tournament option only. Segura is no longer on any team right now. Garrett Cooper's not on the team. Luis Arraez I would look at. Jorge Soler would be in my number one here. Obviously, look at these numbers. Green. Striking out 23%, yes, but a .313 batting average, .414 OBP, slugging is .747, 1.161 OPS, and a .434 isolated power against lefties. I would be looking at these bats. Soler, Arraez, Birdie, Gurriel, and De La Cruz. Those are the bats I would look at in this game. But again, be a little bit weary about the pitching. I still think I would take Yuri Perez in tournaments. So, there we go. That is the early slate. Now we have the main slate. We have some good pitching on this slate, I'm not going to lie. Braves versus Pirates, Spencer Strider versus Osvaldo Bido. Strider's only faced him 10 times. I'm absolutely all over Spencer Strider. There's a reason he's the picture of the video. There's a reason he's the picture of the article. And there's a reason he's the most expensive pitcher on this slate. I am not taking Bido, and I'm not looking at any of the Pirates bats. I'm 100% on Strider here. He already has 208 Ks, coming off 9 Ks, 10, 13, 10, 11, 9, 10. Like, you're going to get probably, like I put in the article, I think you're looking at probably, I could see 13 strikeouts again. Splits-wise, he is on the road. I do know that. He's better on the road, though, at 293. He's got less strikeouts on the road, but he has 2 less starts, less innings, same amount of home runs, more walks. But I am all over Spencer Strider against Pittsburgh today. I know he's super expensive, so you're going to have to get some value elsewhere. But I'm not looking at the Braves, or I'm not looking at Pirates. I'm not looking at Bido. I'm looking at every single Braves batter pretty much. I'm looking at Acuna. We don't even have to look at the numbers. You know exactly who I'm talking about. I want Acuna. I want Albies. I want Matt Olson, I think he has 39 home runs on the year right now. Absolutely crushing it. Matt Olson is on fire. Looking at this ballpark, the wind is blowing out in this ballpark to right center. I'm all over Albies. I want everything to do with Sean Murphy if he's starting. I want pretty much Acuna, Albies, Olson, Ozuna. I want all Orlando Arcia. I want all of the Braves bats. I'll find out a way to get multiple different ones, but that's what I'm looking at. So looking at this, I am all in on Strider, and I'm all in on the Braves bats. I want nothing to do with the Pirates bats. I want absolutely nothing to do with Bido either. So let's move on to the next game. Royals at the Red Sox. Cole Ragans versus Brian Bello. Never faced each other before. Never seen the other team before. So go down to Cole Ragans here, or Ragans. Don't really know how you say it. Game log, had a really good game against the Mets. He's 5,200. He is cheaper. Obviously, he's never faced Boston before. He's only started 2 games at home. The rest have come out of the bullpen. On the road, he's a 6.57 ERA person. Left-hander, we're looking at 5 or 6 innings probably out of him is the max. So we look at that. This is in Fenway Park right now. The wind is blowing out to the Green Monster. So we look at that. What does that mean? Do we want Brayan Bello, yes. I wanted him yesterday, but he didn't start for whatever reason. Game logs, 17.5 against Seattle. Splits, home games, he is better at home. Has given up less home runs at home, more walks, more Ks, less earned runs, less runs, more hits allowed there. In 10 starts, he's got a 4-4 record compared to 4-2 record on the road. I'm all in on Bello here against Kansas City, but we will look at the bats here. So, let's take a look at Boston bats against left-handed pitching. Boston bats against left-handed pitching. You got Justin Turner batting .290. Pretty much green there. I'm taking him. Wouldn't be surprised if he hits a home run. Tristan Casas has been on fire for us when we've used him. I like him there. Verdugo is okay. It's a lefty-on-lefty matchup. Devers is actually good against lefties. .293 batting average. Rob Refsnyder, if he does get the start, 17% walk, 15% K, 349 batting average, 476 OBP. Huge OBP here. One of the top OBP plays of the day is Rob Refsnyder, so I'd be looking at him. Ones I wouldn't use, I don't think I'd use Arroyo or Connor Wong. Kike Hernandez has been traded, and I would look at Yoshida. So I'm looking at Turner, Casas. I do love some Jarren Duran. So I will have a Boston stack here against Reagans. And then if you want to see the Kansas City bats against right-handed pitching, I don't think I'd be using Kansas City. But if you want to just look, they don't have a ton of success. Bobby Witt batting .261. He's been the big, bright spot in this line. He's been killing it. So if you're using anyone, I would use him. Michael Massey in tournaments maybe I would look at. But that's really it. Salvador Perez left hurt yesterday, so probably not in, which would then bring Freddie Fermin in to catch. But I think Perez was DHing anyway. And then Melendez is a catcher / outfield that you could use. But yeah, I would use the only Royal bat I would use is Bobby Witt here, and I'm confident in that one. Next game, Cubs at the Mets. You got Drew Smyly versus Kodai Senga. Don't know how Drew Smyly's still pitching, but we'll look at him. In New York, game log, not so good against Cincy, but that's, they ended up winning 16-6, but he didn't have to pitch very much. So he came through. But then, St. Louis, he had a good game. Against St. Louis prior to that, did not have a good game. So we look at his splits. Away, he is better on the road. This is a pitcher's park. So we look into the ballpark factors. We're looking at Citi Field. Citi Field right now has got the fourth best chance for home runs, the wind blowing out. Probably not using Smyly here. I don't trust him enough anyway at a 4.79 ERA. Is better on the road, but I just don't trust him even against this Mets team. And then you got Kodai Senga, 26 plate appearances, 273. You look at Senga here. There's a reason he's the third highest priced pitcher on the slate. We look at his game log, not so good against This is crazy because we did take him against Kansas City. This is the difference between us and the other bigger guys. They are clearly, I feel like they steer people away. They're not going to tell you when they were wrong. I'm going to tell you right now, we took Kodai Senga against Kansas City. Didn't help us. 11 fantasy points at his price of $9,500 absolutely screwed us over. He now has a matchup against the Cubs, which they've been one of the hottest teams. I think they're only a game and a half out of first in this division, which is nuts. Splits-wise, he is better at home. Gives up home runs, though. The weather, I don't know if I'd use either of these pitchers. I think I'd look at the offenses here. So let's take a look at the Mets offense against left-handed pitching real quick. So we take the Mets. We look at this. I just realized you guys haven't been able to see it very clear. That is my bad. But that is why you get to listen to my voice. So, looking at the Mets bats that have had success. Escobar's gone. Starlin Marte's off the IL. I wouldn't mind him, a lefty. Lindor is one of my favorite shortstop plays of the day. Pete Alonso against lefties, batting .218, 264 isolated power, though. So, when he gets a hold of one against a lefty, he does damage. Francisco Alvarez I would use. Canna's gone. Tommy Pham is gone. McNeil I would look at a little bit. 254 average with a 348 OBP. And then Brandon Nimmo I would look too. So the bats that I would look at here for the Mets against Smiley, Marte, Lindor, Alonso, Alvarez, and McNeil and Nimmo. And then you want to look at the Cubs bats against right-handed pitchers because of the weather and the ballpark factor here. Let's take a little gander real quick. Trey Mancini's off the team. Yan Gomes, I probably would avoid him. I'd look at Nico Horner. I would probably avoid Patrick Wisdom. Mike Tauchman, if he's leading off, I don't mind him. Cody Bellinger, 303 batting average. He's got a lot of green there. Chris Morel has a lot of green there against right-handed pitching. Suzuki, I'm okay with. Dansby Swanson's been absolutely on fire. He loves to play the Mets, being with the Braves for so many years. And Ian Happ. So, again, the players that I would look at on this team, probably Horner, Tauchman, if he's leading off. If not, probably not. Cody Bellinger, Morel, Suzuki, and these. There's so many that I like. The only ones that I wouldn't use probably are Wisdom, and then that's probably it there. So I don't really like the pitching here. There's other options for pitching. I think it's clear-cut who the pitching options are on this main slate. It's not these two. Jays at the Guardians is next. Ryu versus Gavin Williams. Gavin Williams obviously has never faced them before. Ryu making his second start off the IL, or second start of the year. Yeah. Didn't do too well. Didn't do too hot against Baltimore. They're a good team. He only went 5 innings there. Did have 80 pitches. I don't know if he was on a pitch count or what, but yeah. Baltimore's a really good team this year. Splits-wise, on the road, he hasn't pitched on the road, so we can't really go off anything there. We look at this. Then we look at Gavin Williams against Toronto. Game logs. Had a couple of good games here, a couple of down games, and then back to good. Splits, he hasn't faced Toronto this year. 5 games at home, 4.21 ERA versus 3 games on the road, 2.12. Has more strikeouts because he has 2 more starts, more walks, more home runs, more earned runs, obviously. Don't know if I'd be using pitching in this one either. Don't know if I feel confident about that. So let's take a look at Cleveland bats against left-handed pitching. Again, guys, if you want to help support the channel, there's a donation for our CashApp is down below. You can always sign up for FTA Plus, or you can click on the ads in this and go to our website. Click on the ads on the website. Those all help boost the numbers and help get us traction to where we want to go for NFL. If you guys want us to break down NFL like this, the videos are going to be long, but they're hopefully be very helpful. So Cleveland bats that I would look at. Ahmed Rosario's off the team. I believe Josh Bell is off the team too, right? Hold on. Yeah, Josh Bell is in Miami, so he's off the team. Probably wouldn't use Miles Straw. Josh Naylor's on the IL. Stephen Kwan, the 286 batting average here. Jimenez I would be looking at. Will Brennan, probably not. Jose Ramirez, he's got that nasty right hook. Did you guys see that? If you haven't, I think I have it on my Twitter. Absolutely loved Tim Anderson getting knocked out. He got knocked out. He was asleep. He went bye-bye. He went night-night. He could not walk. And then he's been on Twitter all day Sunday talking shit. I mean, he got knocked out. He squared up. He swung. Absolutely got knocked out. He thinks he could take Jose Ramirez. Let's go. Let's put him out there. No one come to their defense. Ramirez knocked him out. It was awesome. So I'm all in on a Jose Ramirez bat there. So I would probably look at those bats against Ryu. I don't trust him enough yet. Again, though, we know he's a good pitcher, but he's just not built up yet. I think I kind of like a sneaky Guardian stack here. And then Toronto bats against right-handed pitching. We could look at those. Kirk, 260. I don't know if he'll even be in there. He's a GPP option for me. Brandon Belt's a GPP option. Whit Merrifield, I don't mind. He's got more green and yellow than orange and red I would look at. George Springer, I don't mind him. Vlad, I'll take some exposure to him. Danny Jansen's been absolutely on fire when we've used him. I would look at him, and so is Matt Chapman. So if I'm taking any here, I'm probably taking Merrifield, Springer, Jansen, Chapman, if I were to take Blue Jays against Gavin Williams. But honestly, Gavin Williams might be a tournament option that I think a lot of people will be off of. I could look at that too. So don't mind that there. Then you got the Yankees at the White Sox. Yankees actually held their own against the Astros. Split the series, which is not expected. I thought they would get swept, but they did not. Their offense is kind of coming along. Judge is back. I know he went 0 for 12 or 0 for 16 in the series, but just him being in the lineup is a big bat they have to try and pitch around. So it could boost numbers for everybody. You got Garrett Cole, who's arguably currently the front runner for the AL Cy Young. Looking at that, he is $1,500 cheaper than Strider. If you want to look at that, if you want to save some money, Garrett Cole against the White Sox, I don't mind. He's had success. He's faced 91 of them, 280 batting average. Dylan Cease is very up and down this year. It's kind of crazy. So let's look at Garrett Cole on the road. I believe he's got better numbers on the road. Game logs coming off a really good game against Tampa Bay, which they are a fantastic team. 7 innings, 2 earned runs, 8 Ks. Splits-wise, hasn't faced the White Sox this year. On the road, in 9 starts, 2.26 ERA. Only 3 home runs compared to 11 at home. More than half the walks. Less than half the walks, I mean. Less than half the Ks, but he's also 5 games less on the road. So I'm still looking at Garrett Cole here if you want to save a little bit of money instead of going with Strider. And then we dig into Dylan Cease. Now, Dylan Cease is nasty when he's on. Just got lit up by Texas. He lasted 1.2 innings, 7 earned runs. He's been giving up a ton of runs this year. I won't lie. 4-5 record, 4.61 ERA, 144 strikeouts. Splits-wise, hasn't faced the Yankees this year. Home games, 426. Away games, 498. Both of those numbers are not good. Obviously, this game is at home. Giving up more home runs here. This ballpark, I also believe, it does have a boost, the 3rd highest boost for home runs, even with the wind. It's blowing right now. It's blowing from right to left. So you could be looking at those righty bats if they pull the ball. So we can look at the bats that we like here. Let's take a look at the Yankees bats, or the White Sox bats against right-handed pitching. Looking at this, I mean, probably not. There's not a lot to like here. Eloy is 288 batting average here, 329 OBP, 473 slugging, 186 ISO. Luis Robert Jr. has been absolutely on fire this year. I would look at him. He's got a 289 ISO there, 548 slugging, 258 batting average. Benintendi against his old team. Whether or not he does anything, we'll see. 282 batting average there. I wouldn't look at Tim Anderson. He's got more red than, I think he has 1 home run on the year. He has the same amount of knockouts that he does home runs on the year, which is wild. He's got knocked out the same amount as home runs, which is crazy now you think about that. So I don't think I'd really use any White Sox bats here. Then Yankees bats against righties. Take a look real quick. Glaber's been on fire this year, had a home run yesterday. I would look at him. He's got a low K percentage as well with a 272 batting average. Jake Bauers, if he leads off, I like him there. Got some power his last, 8 games. I would look at him. Aaron Judge is back. These numbers, obviously, 1.14 OPS. Lefty-righty really doesn't matter for him. DJ's been kind of coming along. We'll kind of see there. With a righty, I wouldn't be surprised if Oswaldo Cabrera gets in there somewhere. Wouldn't be surprised if Stanton sits today. I just kind of pay attention to there. But Rizzo's on the IL. I wouldn't mind Bader. IKF has been pretty good too. So if I'm using bats here, I'm probably using Torres, Bowers, Judge, LeMahieu, Oswaldo, IKF, Harrison Bader there. If Stanton does play, I don't mind him. But he did go 0 for 5 or 0 for 6 on Friday. I think he went 0 for 6 on Sunday. So that is definitely something to pay attention to. Don't think I'll use much Cease. I'll have Cole in the Yankees bats. Maybe if I don't, in lineups I don't use Cole, I'll sprinkle in like Luis Robert Jr., Eloy Jimenez. It's probably it for the White Sox. Next game, Rockies at the Brewers. You got Peter Lambert versus Freddie Peralta. Looking at these numbers, Peter Lambert here, down at the very bottom at 5,000. Splits wide or game log, his previous game not so good. Had a couple of good games against Washington and Miami at his price of 5,000. But the innings are up in the air. 4.1, not good. 6, okay. 5, okay. 3, 1. It just really depends. He's getting into the starting role, but who knows? Away games, he started 2 of them. The rest are the bullpen. 2.13 ERA. So he's got a better ERA on the road. Most pitchers do in Coors. They have a worse ERA in Coors. I probably not using Lambert at all. Probably looking at Milwaukee bats, and I'm probably looking at Peralta. So let's take a look at Freddie Peralta against the Colorado Rockies. He's the 4th highest priced pitcher on the slate. 4.46 ERA. It's kind of high. Game logs, a couple of really good games in a row against Washington and Cincy. His best start of the year came against a really good Cincy team that he held to no runs and 13 Ks. Splits, he's faced Colorado once this year. 6 innings, 10 Ks. Let's take a look. Was that in Colorado or was that at home? That was in Coors, and he had a really good game. So I love me some Freddie Peralta, especially if you want to pay down at 9,600. So we could look at the Brewers bats against right-handed pitching. Yelich has been on fire. I mean, he's batting 310, 403 OBP. I'd look at him. Brian Anderson is back. He did sit yesterday, so make sure he's in there. I don't mind him. I don't mind Willy Adames. I don't mind William Contreras. So I would look at, you know what, pretty much everyone but Rowdy Tellez and Jesse Winker, I'm okay with in this Brewers lineup. And then Colorado bats, I'm not even going to look at them. I mean, we can look at them, but I'm on the Peralta train here. So Colorado bats against righties. Ryan McMahon batting 288. Diaz batting 294. I mean, they've got some high ones here, but Grichuk's gone. Crone is gone. Yeah, Bryant's on the IL. I would definitely be looking at Freddie Peralta and the Milwaukee bats over Peter Lambert and Colorado. Then you got the Giants at the Angels. You got Logan Webb versus Patrick Sandoval. Webb, 63 plate appearances, 222. Sandoval, 25 plate appearances, 400. Let's take a look at Logan Webb here. Did I miss him? No, there it is. No, it's not Alex Wood, right? Yeah, it's Logan Webb. So let's remove non-probables. Logan Webb. Game logs. Pretty good game against Arizona, and that's a really good team. We had him because it was the ballpark. Now he's on the road. Splits-wise, away games, he is worse on the road. So kind of use that information if you want to go. Ohtani would be a fantastic option here. Giving up twice as many earned runs on the road, more home runs, more walks, less strikeouts. I'm off Logan Webb. I'm looking at the Angels bats once we dig into it. Then we've got Patrick Sandoval here. Now we go back to probables. Patrick Sandoval here against San Francisco. Game logs, not so good here. A couple of bad games. Look at splits. Hasn't faced San Francisco this year. He is at home. On home, he is a little worse. So I don't know if I'll be using any of the pitching here. But we will look at the bats. So let's take a look at the Angels bats against right-handed pitching. Guerrilla, Colorado. Go here to the Angels. Trout's hurt. Ward's hurt. Drury's on the IL. Ohtani, fantastic numbers. I'm all in on Ohtani here. Probably my core play of the main slate. Going to have him in every single lineup here. The problem is, if he doesn't have people hitting around him, he could walk, and he's expensive, and then that is where we see less fantasy points for what we're paying for if he walks all the time. But if he hits a home run, he pays for it himself automatically. I would look at Hunter Renfroe a little bit. Mickey Moniak, I don't mind, batting 343 and 190 plate appearances there. Matt Tice had a home run yesterday. I don't mind him. So if I'm looking at bats, I'm probably looking at Ohtani, Renfroe, Rengifo, Thice, I think it's Thice, and Mickey Moniak here. And then if you want to look at the San Francisco bats against left-handed pitching, just get out of Cleveland, go down to San Francisco. Against left-handed pitching, You got Patrick Bailey batting .313 and 67 plate appearances. If he gets the start, I'd look at him. Wilmer Flores batting .342. Austin Slater batting .306. Luis Matos, I don't know if he'll start, but he's batting .310 there in 50 plate appearances. So there's a lot to like here against lefties. Estrada, .296. Patrick Bailey I'd be looking at. I don't mind J.D. Davis. Lamont Wade Jr. I would use. Wilmer Flores, Austin Slater, and Matos as well in this game. Ballpark factor here being in the Angels Stadium. Looking at that. Wind is currently blowing out. Not a huge thing for home runs, but I'm definitely looking at Ohtani there. Then Rangers at the Athletics is the last game. You got Dane Dunning versus Ken Waldichuk. Dane Dunning has been up and down this year. Looking at this, game logs, we used him against the White Sox. He's facing his old team, absolutely dominated them. 7.2 innings, 11 Ks. Splits-wise, away games, he is better on the road. This is in Oakland. I love me some Dane Dunning. 7,200. I don't mind him. He's cheap if you want to pay up at other positions as well. And then Ken Waldichuk, I'm looking at the Rangers as a stack here. So let's take a look. I'm not looking at the Oakland bats. I'm looking at Dane Dunning. 100% Dane Dunning will be in tournaments for me, and the Rangers bats will be. So let's take a look at the Rangers bats that have had success against left-handed pitching this year. Jung just hurt. He has a broken wrist or thumb, so he is out. Jonah Heim is out. I would be looking at Marcus Semien. Love me some Marcus Semien against a lefty. I would use Semien. I don't mind Duran. I love Corey Seager. Lefty-on-lefty matchup does not matter to me. Same thing with Nate Lowe. Love him. Doesn't matter. I will have so much exposure to Texas as a stack as well. So in my Texas stack, it'll be a combination of Semien, Duran, Seager, Lowe. I don't mind Taveras, Adolis Garcia as well. And then we'll kind of see who takes place of Josh Young, and we'll see who is the replacements once the lineups come out, once the Vegas numbers come out as well. And like I said, this ballpark, it is a pitcher's park. It's a huge park. It is a football stadium. The wind is blowing out, but it's actually negative for home runs. But I still think if any team can hit home runs against a lefty, it's the Rangers. And there you have it. There's the breakdown of all of the pitching, all of the bats that we like on the slate, the ballpark factors, everything like that. And like I said and promised, our top 10 or our top 15 bats that we like on this slate with our simulation. So these have been simulated 2,000 times right now. By lock time of tomorrow, they will have 10,000 iterations and simulations, and those will be updated on the site. So I don't update this until probably like 3 p.m., 4 p.m. in the afternoon, just to get all the simulations in there. For the most part, it will update with when lineups come out there, when the weather shows and stuff like that. So use your hand, or not your hand, write down, do whatever, but these are the top 15 bats that we like in our simulations as of right now. Aaron Judge against Dylan Cease. Ronald Acuna versus Beto. Kyle Schwarber versus Trevor Williams. Francisco Lindor versus Drew Smyly. Castellanos versus Trevor Williams. Ha-Sung Kim versus Tony Gonsolin. Ohtani versus Webb. Jazz Chisholm versus Williamson. Depends if Jazz is in there. I know he left hurt the other day. I don't think he played on Sunday. Let me see real quick. Yeah, he sat. So if he's in, this will probably be updated and he'll probably be moved down the list, but these are the first iterations. Bryce Harper against Williams. Jarren Duran versus Cole Ragans. Jake Bauers versus Dylan Cease. Tatis versus Gonsolin. Bobby Witt Jr. versus Brian Bayo. C.J. Abrams versus Ranger Suarez. And Andres Jimenez versus Ryu. So I'll go over that one more time, one final time. Number 1 is Aaron Judge, Acuna, Schwarber, Lindor, Castellanos, Ha-Sung Kim, Ohtani, Jazz, Bryce Harper, Jarren Duran, Jake Bauers, Tatis, Bobby Witt Jr., C.J. Abrams, and Andres Jimenez. There you have it. Hopefully this video found you well. Hopefully you guys dominated. I had someone hit us up on Twitter. He had an 8-game parlay going, and man, was it close. I think everything hit but the Twins. Arizona lost on a walk-off. Other than that, I think at $20 would have turned into $5,500 or $5,800, and he said we helped him out. So I also would like to know, I want to do a testimonial page on the website. Can I use some of your guys' testimonials? If I can, leave me one on this video, and I will put it on the website. I will create just a page of testimonials from you guys. Your name can be on there if you want, or I can abbreviate it or something like that so your personal information isn't out there. But if you guys will let me use as a testimonial, that would be amazing. Again, the links, everything down below. Our Discord will also be in there. So that is all I've got for this Monday. We will be back Tuesday with a full slate of 15 games. We're very excited for it. Good luck to everyone, and as always, let's bring home some bacon. Peace!